I'm going to start recording. Basically, guys, all I've done was run our script to rebuild our routers. I'm going to go to R1 first. First thing we're going to do is label our NICs. And let me just verify that I am in fact recording. I am. So if I go to HyperV, highlight R1, and look at the MAC addresses, I can see that the interface that has a MAC 38 should be labeled Subnet 0. It's attached to the Subnet 0 switch. So I'm going to go here, look at the MAC addresses. This one is 38, so I want to label that Subnet 0. This one I can see I get a dynamic IP, so I'm going to label that public. So this one has to be Subnet 1. To double check, go to details, 39, my MAC address ends in 39. If I go to HyperV, 39 is attached to the Subnet 1 switch. So I'm doing the same network we did last time. So basically what I did was I gave you this network and I said create 4 subnets. We ended up creating these 4 subnets, and these are the range of usable IPs for each subnet. And if I look at my map, I've labeled Subnet 0, that's my Subnet 0, Subnet 1, Subnet 2, and Subnet 3. That's the first usable IP in Subnet 0. That's the first usable IP in Subnet 1. That's the last usable IP in Subnet 1. This is the first usable IP in Subnet 2, the last usable IP in Subnet 2. Actually, this is wrong.
190?
190.
Yeah, 190. The last one is 192.
I'm going to save that again. File
193. Router 3. Are you checking the numbers again?
I'm looking on this.
For the machines?
You're going to highlight the router, go to the networking tab,
Right.
and kind of move it over. So I'm going to export this again. So this is our network diagram. These are the IPs that want to assign to all the interfaces. So I'm going to start with Subnet 0, go to Properties, 192.168.0.1, and our DNS servers haven't changed. .65 for Subnet 1. Guys, I'm going to go fast because I don't want you to mimic what I'm doing. I want you to look at the map. The same map we had last time. You shouldn't be watching me. You should be able to get all that information from your map. I have assigned this to Subnet 0. I assigned this to Subnet 1. Next thing I need to do is, I don't care if you rename, install software, it doesn't matter to me. I'm just going to do a rename first. CS01 R1. getting a possible duplicate IP. A possible duplicate name. Signing back into R1. I'm going to go to firewall and open up my firewall. I'm going to come back in 1 second, Chris. File and print sharing, inbound and outbound. And I'm going to install remote access.
You said file and print sharing, right?
Right. Echo request. And routing. Guys, I'm going fast intentionally because I want you to just look at your screen and know what to do. While I'm installing, if you need me to come back there, raise your hand. You can't unselect. I'm just going to check my sound. Still working. Yeah, when they released Windows 18.03, they have a privacy setting for the mic, so not all applications can hear the mic, so you have to turn on the privacy setting. I couldn't figure that out. A student told me. Okay. So routing's installed. Going to go to Tools, Routing Remote Access. Now this machine is the only machine that's actually connected to a public interface. So this is the only one I'm going to turn on NAT. These two will not have NAT. There'll be regular routers. This one will be a router and NAT. So I'm going to right click, Configure and Enable. Choose NAT. For R1, for R2 and 3, you're going to choose this option. It's asking which is the public interface. Choose the public interface. It's asking which one is the private interface. They're both private. This wizard only allows me to add one. So I'm going to add one, then go back in, then add the other. Finish. It gives me a warning about opening up ports. Don't worry about it. It's a router, you don't need to open up ports. Then once I get in, drill down to IPv4, NAT, then add the other interface. If you want, you can also add internal if it wasn't added automatically. New interface, internal, private. New interface, subnet 1, private. So I have one public interface and 2 private. The internal one is for the router itself. Now if I look at my routing table, I can see that I have a default route from the public interface. The school gives it to me. I have an entry for 0.0. I have an entry for 0.64. That's to be expected because I'm attached to those 2 subnets. So I know here and here. I need to tell R1 how to get to subnet 2 and how to get to subnet 3. So in R1, I'm going to add a new static route. The network I want to get to is 192.168.0.128. That represents all IPs in that network. Now I have 3 interfaces I can send the packet out. I'm going to send it out, the interface attached to subnet 1. So I'm going to choose subnet 1. Now who do I want to send it to? It goes out here, and I'm going to send it to 126. The next interface is going to hit. So that is 192.168.0.65. That is the first interface I'm going to hit on R2. And I'm going to do it again for the other network. The exit interface is still subnet 1. The network ID is 192 with our subnet mask that we came up with when we did our subnetting. And the gateway is still .65. I don't need to send it to that far subnet. I just need to send it to the next router. It's a packet switching network. So this machine is done. I'm not setting, I'm just saying that's the interface on this machine I want to send the packet out. That's who I'm going to send it to, the next router. For both these subnets, I don't get it to the destination. I just get it to the next router. Let that router worry about it from there. Okay, so now we're going to go to R2. First thing I'm going to do is label my interfaces. So I'm going to go back to HyperV, highlight R2. The interface attached to MAC address ending in 36 should have a label of subnet 1. That's the switch it's attached to. This is 78. This is 36. So this is subnet 1. So this has to be subnet 2. This one ends in 37. On HyperV, the one ends in 37 is subnet 2. The one ending in 36 is subnet 1. Now here's my 2 IP addresses, 126 and 129. .192.168.0.126 with our subnet mask we designed, and the DNS server is the same. And for subnet 2, 192.168.0.129. I configured both IP addresses. I can do IP config all. Subnet 1 has a 192.168.0.126. Subnet 2 has a 192.168.0.127. Next thing I'm going to do is rename. CS01-R2. Firewall, then routing. Label, assign the NICs, IP addresses, configure the host name, firewall, then routing. I'm going to go to the firewall. Inbound and outbound. Next, I'm going to install routing and remote access. Remote access, then routing. Check restart. It only restarts if it needs to. Guys, while we're waiting, our last day of the class is the 26th, I believe, right? How's everyone doing with the quizzes? That doesn't sound, this is a session 3 class. So, the last day of class is the November 27th, which is a Wednesday, so we don't meet that day anyways. So our last day will be the 26th. Guys, I think you're going to need 2 days. Some people are going to get done in 5 minutes. Other people, so I'm going to give you the 21st and the 26th. So we only have 3 class sessions left before you're ready to do this. How many people haven't done this subnetting exam yet? Okay. You guys, you gotta get busy with that kind of stuff.
I'm sorry, how many tries do we have for the final use certified exam?
3. Yeah, there's the post-assessment, don't forget that.
For this, we have to grade?
No, you don't really have 3 attempts. You have as many attempts as you want. Don't turn it in until you're ready. You know,
So
but
what was it?
the post-assessment when you certify.
How many questions?
Could do the final lab?
if you want to do that, if you're here free during the day and you do that, I'll grade it from the lab. I don't care.
Okay.
So I'm going to go to Tools. Guys, you can't watch a video and do the final. That's, you know, I don't want you to just mimic off the video. So the only thing you can have on the day of the test are notes. On the day of the skills test. Okay, guys, I'm going to go to Routing Remote Access. Configure and enable. I don't need NAT on this machine. I have no demand dial connections. They're both permanent connections. I'm going to go to static routes and show IP routing table. I know about 64 network and the 128. I don't know about the 192, and I don't know about this. But I don't need to tell the router about this because it's in line with my default gateway. So all I need to do is add a gateway, which will include Subnet 0 and the internet. Because if it's a network that I don't know, I'm going to send it out this interface to this gateway. That will include this subnet that I don't know about and include all the IPs on the internet. So I really only need to tell R2 about the default gateway and a gateway for this network over here, the subnet 3. So I'm going to add a new static route. If I had a packet destined for the internet or subnet 0, I'm going to send it out the subnet 1 interface. And I'm going to represent all IPs on the internet with quad zeros. And I'm going to send that to R1, which is 0.65. That's my default gateway. That'll include the internet and subnet 0. Now I'm going to create a new route for the 192 network. I know about 64, 128, and the internet. I just need to do one for 192.168.0.192. The exit interface will be subnet 2. I'm going to send it out to subnet 2 interface, and who am I going to send it to? I send it out here. I'm going to send it to 190.
192, not 190.
No, that's for the subnet. The subnet is going to be all the IPs in that subnet. So that's where I want to go to. I'm going to send it out here to 191. That's the gateway. 190 is the gateway, rather. This is the destination. Do you understand the difference? Yeah, this represents all IPs in that subnet. This is the IP of the router I'm going to send it to get there. Click OK. This router's done. Now I'm going to do R3. Okay, so I'm going to go to HyperV, look at the MAC addresses. The MAC ending in 3.4 is subnet 2. I just closed my machine. Oh no, I didn't. Okay. So I'm going to go to local server. Look at each NIC. This one is 3.5. That's not the one I want. This one is 3.4. So that's, I'm pressing F2, subnet 2, then tab, subnet 3. Once I have everything labeled, look at the IP addresses, 190 and 193. I think it's harder to do graphically than off the command line. Again, I'm going fast because I don't want you to mimic what I'm doing. I want you to read what you're looking at and know what you're doing.
If you were to say that's up on the subnet last time, it would be messed up.
Yep, because it would think it's in the same network and not send it to a router. It would try to find it in the same network, when in fact it's on a different network. So I'm going to rename, reboot.
So we're going to be able to get the store and what it is to use to set up the drivers like yes, then go there.
Right. And then I'm going to give you a subnet, tell you how many subnets to create, tell you which subnets to use. And guys, I also need to do a little more work on packet tracer. I'm going to give you screenshots of the packets. You're going to identify the layer 2 address, the layer 3 address, you know, things like that. So I want to do that, a little more work on that as well. That's why you need 2 days. Look, see my screen, it's black. I know it's taking too long. Just close it out, reopen it. Open up my firewall, allow ICMP traffic in, ping, allow it in and out. Now I'm going to install routing remote access. Remote access. Then routing. I'm doing both. I'm going to, for those people that came in it late, I'm recording it graphically, then I'm going to record it using PowerShell and put it up on YouTube so you can practice. while we're waiting. Okay, guys, so you can start planning your subnet. This is the IP I'm going to give you for your test. So you're going to create a lot more subnets than you need, but those are the ones I want to use. So you have to design all your subnets, get the range of usable IPs, and once you do that, write out your map, use subnet 0, 1, 2, and 3. And that's going to affect all the IPs that you have on your network. Incidentally, this will be the last time I do this as far as practice. Guys, I've already installed routing remote access. I'm going to go to Tools, Configure Enable, a Secure Network, no demand out. Go to static routes. R3 will know about subnet 2 and subnet 3. If it's not subnet 2 or subnet 3, I'm just going to send it to R2. So I only need a default route. Just send it to R2. If it's not 2 or 3, send it to R2. I don't care if it's an IP for the internet or subnet 0 or subnet 1. Send it to R2. So new static route. The exit interface will be subnet 0. Quad zeros represents all IPs I don't know about. And I'm going to send it to this IP right here. The router on, this IP on router 2. 192.168.0 dot, what was that? 129. Thank you. Click OK. Now I'm going to test. I'm going to ping from here to here and from here to the internet. Ping, the source IP will be 192.168.0.193, the far side of R3, to 192.168.0.1. Did I not open up a router somewhere? I gotta check my firewalls. Why can't I get to that router? I just want to make sure all my routes are right. That's right. I'm just checking file and print sharing.
That's what I want to.
Well, that allows you to receive pings and send pings. Okay, let me see where it's dying. So I'm going to try it incrementally. I'm going to see where it's messing up. So I'm going to try to ping from here to here, here to here, here to here, and ping each interface as I go down. So ping 0 dot I'm going to do 190 first. 190. That works. I'm going to do 0 dot 129. That works. I'm going to do 0 dot 126. That works. I'm going to do 0 dot 65. That's not working. So I think it's a route. I think there's a problem on R1. And I don't see it. Oh. I know what I'm doing wrong. I shouldn't send it to 65, I should send it to 126. Here's where I made my mistake. I need to send it to R2, not back to itself. Try it again. Now I'm going to ping the internet. Okay. Yeah, so guys, basically I said to get to this subnet, send it out here, and I put the same IP. The exit interface is subnet 1. I need to send it to 126. I even said it when I did it, but I put in the wrong IP. Okay. So guys, I'm going to pause the video, rebuild the network, and again do it PowerShell. So you have both methods. Okay, all 3 virtual machines are booted. Now I'm going to open up PowerShell on my real machine. Actually, I'm going to close this out and get a clean PowerShell. Because this is going to be recorded, I'm going to try to make the screen a little bit smaller just so I can fit all the commands on it. I'm going to do get VM network adapter. I'm thinking Linux. Select object properties. I just want to see the name, comma, MAC address. I don't need to see everything. Maybe not. I do need to see the VM. So I need to see the switch name. The switch name is subnet 0 for the MAC ending in 3F. So I'm going to connect to the virtual machine. Enter PS session. VM name is R1. Sign in. Now that I'm connected, I'm going to look at the network adapters on R1. Guys, and I really only need to do this. I really only need to see select object, properties, name, that's a comma. So the one ending in 3F should have a label of subnet 0. So this one right here should have subnet 0. Rename net adapter. The current name is Ethernet 3, there's a space, so I've got to include it in quotes. And the new name is subnet 0. The one ending in 40, is attached to the subnet 1 switch. So this one is subnet 1. Rename, net, adapter name, Ethernet, new name is subnet 1. So Ethernet 2 has to be public. Ends in 41.
You can't just scroll up and you lower that so you don't have to type everything.
What do you mean scroll?
Like press the up key.
No, I could. He's saying, yeah, I could do this. Public. And Ethernet 2. So I'm going to hit the up arrow, view it now. So now I'm labeled properly. So new net IP address. IP address is 192.168.0.1. Prefix is 26 bits. The alias is, this is the IP for subnet 0. Again, looking at our map, that's the IP for subnet 0, subnet 1, subnet 1, subnet 2, subnet 2, subnet 3. Subnet 1 has an IP of 65. Set my DNS, set DNS client services. Guys, you'll be able to see this all in the video. 10, 13, 2, 5, and 2, 7. And I'm going to do interface alias asterisk, meaning all interfaces. I'm going to install Windows features, name, dash name is routing. Include the tools to manage it. Restart if needed.
The Windows features, the firewall,
That is the routing utility, routing and remote access.
oh, so you didn't do
I'm just, instead of installing it through the server manager, I'm installing it this way. So if you know what you need to assign all the IP addresses, you can walk in with the script pretty much exactly what you need. You don't have to be here in class to write the script. You can come in with the script, cut and paste them into the command prompt. Highlight, just highlight it and press F8. The only thing you have to do graphically is you've got to walk through the wizard to configure routing remote access. There's no way to do that in PowerShell. We're going to do that next. Yes.
For the day of the test, the notes that you said were allowed to bring, do we bring them, do we have to bring them physically, or can we just put them in a notepad or something?
You can just have them on your cloud provider, OneDrive or whatever. Okay, I'm going to open up my firewall now. Enable the net firewall rule. Display group. Just do file asterisk. That will open up your firewall inbound and outbound. Now R1 doesn't know about subnet 2 and subnet 3. So I'm going to add the routes right from PowerShell. New net route. The destination prefix is 0.128/26. That's this network right here. I'm telling you, this router, how to get to this network. The interface alias is subnet 1. That's the interface I'm going to send the packet out. I'm going to send it out this interface to this IP. And the next hop will be 192.168.0.126. That's the next router in line. Hit enter. Hit the up arrow. Go to change it, add the next network. 192. So get net route. I can see I have an entry for 0, 64, 128, and 192. So the only thing I have to do on R1 now is just walk through the wizard to configure routing remote access. I can't do that on PowerShell. I'm going to go to routing remote access. It's already installed. I haven't renamed it yet, guys. I'll do that in a minute. It's going to be NAT. Choose my public interface. Choose one of my privates. Once it's up, add the other private. New interface, I'm going to add internal for the router itself, which is private. Most of the time it adds internal for you automatically. And subnet 1, which is also private. The only public interface you should have should be public. Public with NAT enabled. I'm going to go back to PowerShell, rename the computer. CS01 R1 restart. Press enter, it'll disconnect automatically. See, I'm disconnected now. We'll just type clear, just to clear my screen.
The one that you put this file on the asterisk runs
Yeah, we'll open up the firewall. So I'm going to first do get VM net adapter. VM name is R2. And I only want to view the switch name and the MAC addresses. Thank you. Select object, properties, switch, name, MAC address. So now I'm going to connect to the VM. Enter PS session. VM name is R2. Did I put it? I'm pressing cancel. I accidentally hit the wrong key. Guys, just make sure numlock is on if you're using that right-hand keyboard, because the 1-1, people had trouble signing in because that wasn't hit. So get net adapter select object. I'm just filtering out things I don't want to see. Properties, name, MAC. There's no space between that, in that comma. So B3B is subnet 1, 3C is subnet 2. Rename net adapter. The current name is Ethernet. The new name is Ethernet, should be subnet 1. Subnet 2 will be Ethernet 2. New net IP address. So here's my two IP addresses, 126 and 129. .192.168.0.126. The prefix is 26. The interface alias, this is for subnet 1. Guys, just so it doesn't scroll off the screen, I'm just doing that so I don't get all that output. Now I'm going to do one for subnet 2, which is 129. Set my DNS, set DNS client server 10.13.2.5 and 10.13.2.7 for all interfaces. The order in which I do these things aren't really important, so I'm going to enable net firewall rule, display group will be file asterisk.
You quoted it last time?
Yep, you have to quote it. If you don't quote it, it won't understand it. Install - Windows feature name routing, include management tools. And just like before, when R2, I need to tell R2 about subnet 0 in the internet with its default route. I need to tell R2 about subnet 3. So I need two routes, one for the internet, one for subnet 3. Subnet 0 is in line with my internet, so I don't need to tell it about it.
It says, for example, like something on PowerShell, do like something through there and some kind of graphical.
Yes. There's no way for me to tell how you did it. All I'm going to do is see the end results. If you can ping from R3 to R1 in the internet, that's the only grading I'm going to do. If you can't ping, then I have to get granular and start looking where it failed. Okay, now I'm gonna add new routes, new net route, new net route. I'm gonna do quad zeros for the internet. The interface alias, I'm gonna send it out to subnet 1 interface. And I'm gonna send it to 192.168.0.65. So basically, I'm gonna say, to get to the internet, send it out to the subnet 1 interface to this IP. That'll get it over to R1, and R1 will take it from there. Now I'm going to add a new route for subnet 3. 192.168.0.192/26. I'm going to send it out to the subnet 2 interface. And I'm going to send it to 192.168.0.190. So basically, if I want to get it to here, from here, I'm going to send it out to subnet 2 interface to 190. So the only thing left to do is walk through the wizard to configure router remote access and rename it. I want to sign into R3 while I'm waiting. Router remote access. This is not a NAT router, so I'm just doing a secure connection between two machines. No demand DAO. Guys, I'm going to do that before I do the rename and reboot. So I'm going to rename it, rename computer, new name, CS01-R2, restart. It's going to hit enter a few times. Wait till I reboot. If I don't want to wait, exit. That'll disconnect me. So R2 should be rebooted. It is. Okay, so now I'm going to do get VM network adapter for R3. Select object. Properties, switch, name, MAC. So there's my MAC addresses. Enter PS session. VM name is R3. So get get network adapter, select, name, MAC address. So 3D is subnet 2. So this one is subnet 2. The name is currently Ethernet 2. The new name should be subnet 2. So for subnet 3, it's called Ethernet. This is what it should be named. This is what it's currently named. Here's my IP addresses, 90 and 93. 90 for subnet 2, 93 for subnet 3. So new net IP address, 26 bits. The interface alias is subnet 2. The next one is 93, and it's subnet 3. If you don't want to see all that output, greater than, like this. Do you see I didn't put greater than null? See all this output that it gets? If I put the greater than null, it trashes my output. So, what is, set DNS client server addresses 10.13.2.5, 10.13.2.7. Interface alias, asterisk. Install Windows feature, name, routing. Open up the firewall, add my routes, configure routing remote access, rename and reboot. Okay, it's done installing enable net firewall rule. Display group. asterisk. Yeah, if that's red, it's trying to find something, so you really can't do anything. So I'm just gonna rename it, now. No, I'm gonna add my routes. Listen. R3 can only go one direction. There's no routers over here. If it's not this route or this route, send it to R2. I don't care if it's for subnet 1, subnet 0, or the internet. So, new net route. The destination prefix is quad zeros. The interface alias will be subnet. I'm going to send it out to subnet 2 interface. I'm going to send it to 192.168.0.126. Let me check that. No, 129. I'm going to send it out here to R2. Rename. New name is CS01 R3 dash restart. I just have to walk through the wizard for routing remote access. Secure connection. No demand dial. Test ping. Source address is 192.168.0.193. Destination will be 192.168.0.190. That worked. The next IP is 129. That worked. The next one is 126. That worked.
And basically, this is what we did.
65. 1. Then the internet. That's it. So the other portion of that test is going to be, remember we talked about the packets for